Well, hello, this is Kimberly Brock, and for over 20 years, I've been running my own businesses that have not only been profitable, but personally fulfilling to me. So now I'm on a mission to help other new business owners, just like you, make money doing what you love too. Now we're going to have some fun, so let's get started.
Well, hello, friends. It's episode 263, and I am so glad that you're here today. We're talking about evaluating results. Many of you have heard me say this. All of my Grow Getters know exactly what I'm talking about because it's the last letter in our MOVE method, MOVVE. And I'm wrapping up this series that we've had talking about each of those pieces of the MOVE method. Today, we're talking about evaluating results, how important it is for your business, and what you can do to properly do that, to properly evaluate your results so you can build this business that you've dreamed of. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you found this podcast. I have no doubt it's going to help you along your business journey, whether in the idea stage, starting or growing. This is for you, and I'm so happy to have you. Make sure you get plugged in if you're new. If you scroll down in the show notes right now, there's going to be a link to my free goodies for you. I've got lots of free resources, including this podcast. So make sure you subscribe to this podcast right now. You don't want to miss out. But I've got all sorts of free resources like a business idea guide. It's really called your Ikigai guide. It helps you figure out what type of business is good for you. 16-step checklist. But also too, just so y'all know, something even more exciting is that I've just launched a premium version of this podcast. So right now you can subscribe to a premium version, which is just a handful of dollars a month. It supports this podcast, but it also gives you more deeper dives into the topics that we're talking about. For example, after today's episode, I'm going to be recording my deeper dive and kind of behind the scenes with my business on things that I have done in terms of evaluating results. And you're going to get to hear about it, but you can only hear it if you're a subscriber. So make sure you check that out. If you're in Apple Podcasts, there's a link. And then if you're in Spotify, if you listen in YouTube Music, Overcast, Castos, any platform that you listen in, make sure you scroll down in the show notes. You will see right there. If you're in Spotify or any of the other players, click this. If you're in Apple Podcasts, you can subscribe right here in Apple Podcasts by going to my main podcast page with all the episodes there. And you'll see where you can upgrade. Or if you click on any episode that says bonus, it's going to prompt you to try it. And there's a free trial right now. Also, to any of you who join this premiere version of my podcast, will get a shout out very soon on a podcast episode, your name and your business. If you want a shout out, I'm glad to give it to you for supporting this podcast. So anyways, make sure y'all check everything out below. Get plugged in. I do have a Facebook group too, a free one for those of you that are starting business, so you won't be alone either. So that is it. Okay, on to the episode. Well, hello, friends. How are you today? How is everything going in your business? Is it amazing? Are you loving it? How is it going? I'm just so happy you're here today. I'm so happy that you're here to listen and learn about evaluating results in your business. Y'all, so many small business owners never really properly evaluate the results that they're having in their business. They're just kind of going along. Y'all are busy. I know this. Many of you have full-time jobs. You've got kids at home, or you've got other commitments, or you're taking care of an elderly family member. You've got volunteering. You're playing pickleball. You're doing all the stuff. I get it. It's hard. You feel like your gauge of your business is more like, how many sales am I getting? And is this fun? And actually, I think you're spot on. You're spot on. Is it working to bring sales? And is it fun? Those are the two big questions. But we have to go deeper than that. We have to go deeper than that at times. And today, that's what I want to talk to you about. The two things that you really need to focus on so you can evaluate the results in your business properly so that you can make proper decisions in your business and actually build the business that you dreamed of. Because again, this is what's happening. Some of you are building a business that you did not dream of. It's not fun. you're miserable and it's not making the money that you needed. And that breaks my heart. You'll know this, that there's a lot of things in business that break my heart that I see happen for a lot of small business owners, especially new ones. But it ends up not being fun, not making the money they need, and it's just not what they dreamed of. I don't want this to happen to you. Today, we're going to go through this, so pay attention. I think this will really help you. It will wake you up to the fact that you actually have to be a business owner. I think so many of you come from the world of doing something that you love, and maybe even it was a hobby or a passion in your life, and you start this business, but you don't really treat it like a business. You treat it like this fun little side project. Are you guilty of this? Like, this is just like this fun outlet, and it's a side project. And y'all, let me offer you this. It can be that. It can be that. It can totally be that. I love that for you. Do it. Do it. I think we would all love that. But the reality is we all wanted it as a business, right? So we have to treat it like a business. Are you treating it like a business? Are you evaluating things? Like if someone came in or if I came in today and said, hey, let me look at all your stuff. So why are you making the decision to do XYZ? Why are you starting this? Why are you stopping this? Why are you doing this? Could you back it up? Could you build a case for why you're making certain decisions in your business right now? I want you to be honest with yourself. Think about the decisions that you've maybe recently made. Have you decided to start offering a new product? Have you started getting on a new social media platform? Have you stopped selling certain products? Have you paused your business? Have you pivoted your business? Have you started email marketing? What have you done recently? And I want you to think about whether you have a case for why you decided to do that besides, I just felt like doing that. That's not going to be an acceptable answer. I just felt like doing that. It's going to have to be something more tangible than that. Could you put a quick case, a quick defense together for why you decided to start something new? It's like for me, right? Starting my premium version of my podcast is something that I can build a case for why I think it could work. Here's the deal. We never know. Well, while we never know for sure that anything will work, but we're going on past experience and we're going on the trends and the movement and the momentum, and we're going toward our goals and we're moving toward the things that we think will help us build that business that we've dreamed of, right? That fit into our lives right now. And so for the premium podcast, I went through a whole slew of reasons why I think it could work. And so that's why I started it, right? Could you defend why you're doing certain things? And if you can't defend why you're doing anything that you're doing in your business, stopping or starting anything, or just going with the status quo, right? Letting things ride just as they are. If you don't have a defense, this is a wake up call for you. Okay. Am I saying that you have to put a whole thesis together and like a whole case that would go to the court of law? No, no, no. I'm just saying, have you done a little bit of due diligence? What's that joke? Have you given it the old college try? Have you really put a case together? And I find that many small business owners don't. I'm guilty of it too. Y'all, in the past, when I had my online boutiques, I was so frazzled. I had 3 kids. I was running around crazy. My husband got laid off from his job for a year. He didn't have another job. And I was like the breadwinner, and like the whole thing was nuts. So I've been there. But it forces you, when you get in tough situations, to really look at your businesses critically. Okay. So let's talk about it today. There's 2 main factors that you can use right now to help you figure out what you should and shouldn't be doing in your business and make those smart decisions in your business. And again, this can be anything from deciding to pivot, to start something new, to stopping something, to start selling a new way, to start email marketing, maybe marketing a new way. But it can also be about hiring people and firing people. All of that is included too. So the first thing you really need to look at when assessing your results for your business so you can make smart decisions is to really look at your goals. What are your goals for this business? I want y'all to think about that right now. What really are your goals? Now, again, some of you may be doing this because it's just something fun, and it keeps your mind off the craziness of life. It gives you an outlet, a creative outlet. It's something all your own. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's amazing. But this is a business. You didn't start this to be a hobby. If you want it to be a hobby, you have the power to do that. This can be a hobby, something that you do. It can be a philanthropy. It can be something that you just give your time to. It's something that you do for your neighbors or your friends. You have permission to do that. But many of you stepped up and said, no, I actually want this a business. So it's time you treat it like that. You have to look at what are your goals for this business. And your goals might be revenue goals. Of course, that's probably the number one goal for everyone is like, what's my revenue? It actually probably is profit. Like, what's my profit each month? That's probably more important. But in general, everyone's kind of looking at revenue goals, right? But when you dig deeper, this is what I'm talking about, you really have to look at what's my profit, right? Because you could be making $10,000 a month revenue and make $500. And you have to ask yourself, is that worth my time? Or you may be making $4,000 a month, which is amazing off that 10,000 revenue, right? And does that meet your goals? So you really have to look at your revenue and your profit goals. Okay. You have to look at the amount of time that you're putting into this business because, as I always say, this is very dependent on the season of your life. And it is a season. It's going to be here for a few years and there will be a new season. Everyone senses new seasons. I'm about to embark on a new season next month. My youngest child is going to get her driver's license. Okay. It's a new season. What does this mean for me? This means that I have more time to do other things. And what are those other things that I want to be doing? Is it working on my business all the time? Is it joining a pickleball league? Is it doing more volunteering? Is it relaxing? What is it? Right? I mean, that's what we all have to do is we have to think through what are all the alternative choices that we have when we have freed up time. Right? Or when our new season of life. And then in 2.5 years, she's going to graduate and go off to college. I'm going to be in a different season. I'm going to be an empty nester. And my husband and I will really be thinking about what do we want to do from here on out, right? You may be in the I just got married state, right? No kids, nothing. This is your season. You have to think about your goals for this season of your life. Is this season to save as much money as you can, to invest in things that have long-term value? Like, what are your goals right now? If you've just had kids, or maybe you don't even have kids, but you're getting a little older and you want to travel more and whatever it is, right? It's a different season. So, all of you listening today, think about the season that you're in and think about the next season because there's one that's coming up for you probably within a couple of years and it's a new season. And what are your goals for that, for your time that you're going to spend on your business? And only you know this. There's no right or wrong answer. You get to choose. You have the power. So think through right now, like my goal is my revenue and profit, but it's also how much time do I have for this business? Do I have a full-time job? Do I have a part-time job? What am I doing with my life? How much time do I really want to spend on this business? Is it full-time every day? Or is it a few hours a day? Or is it a few hours a week? What is it? Okay. You also have to think about your goal for this business in terms of your personal fulfillment. Like, is it really important to you to have a very fulfilling, rewarding business? And for most of you listening, it is. Like, that's why you're starting it. It's something that you've done over the past, most likely, or something that you've realized that needs to be done in our world. And so it's very fulfilling because you're doing something that you know can make a difference. So I want you to just think about that too, that your goal is to be fulfilled. And if your business ever starts going off the way street, I don't even know how to put that, but if it starts not being fulfilling, you have to regroup and evaluate your results and go, this isn't what I really set out to do, right? And you also have to look at goals. I mean, there's all sorts of goals. I'm just touching on a few here, but one is like your ability to provide good customer service, right? I know these are really important to some of my grow getters. They're like, I want to have the best customer service. I want people to know they can email me anytime, that I'm good with returns and that I reach out to them proactively and all those things. And I think you have to think about those goals because if your goal is to be really good at customer service, then you have to think about the time that you're spending to do those things and how you are actually implementing those customer service goals. So again, these are just examples, but it behooves you to come up with all of the goals. That's how we're going to determine the results of what we're doing to determine if the results that we're getting from our business actually match these goals. So again, to review for the goals section, which is the first part of figuring out how you're going to evaluate results properly, is looking at your revenue and profits, looking at the time that you're going to spend on your business weekly. You're going to be considering how fulfilling this is for yourself and how impactful it is. And then also things like customer service and other goals that you have. Like you have to think about these goals. Okay. So that's the first part of evaluating results, is knowing what your goals are. You would be shocked at how many small business owners don't actually have goals besides, I need to make this amount of money per month. They don't actually intentionally sit there and go, what would be my goals if I'm going to craft this business that I love, that I've dreamed of? I've got to craft my goals. It's like when you get married, what are your goals for your life? Or when you have kids, what are your goals for how you are going to parent? Right? Okay. So the second way that you figure out your goals are to actually evaluate the results. And this is when a lot of business owners drop off. They fall off the cliff right here because they just don't want to dig into the numbers. Sometimes it's because they know the numbers are not good. I've been there when I had certain times where I'm like, I don't even want to look right now because I'm scared, right? It's so they're avoiding it. But also just because maybe they don't know how. We talk about this in Grow Getters and I provide tools for doing that. But you have to look at your key metrics. Like, what are the metrics that are important to understand the health of your business? Like your revenue, your profit, all your fixed costs, all your variable costs, everything that are involved per month to run your business. So you've got to be looking at your key metrics. And are you overspending on all your expenses and costs, or do they look pretty good? What are they? You can't make decisions. Like you can't say, I want to cut all my expenses when really you are lean on your expenses. You just don't have enough profit margin on your products. You see, there can be a big mix up in what you're doing when you start evaluating the results and you keep thinking, I need to keep costs down, when really it wasn't your costs that were the problem. It's that you didn't increase your profit margin enough on your products. I've done that myself where I had, monogram gifts and we were selling monogramming that was $10. And some of the monogramming thread and sizes were so big that it was actually costing us more to monogram it than what we were charging the client. So we started upping the price on certain monogram sizes and stuff like that. So you have to be considering all that. You have to be able to really look at the feedback that you're getting and analyze that. I often do that. We'll look at reviews and things that I've asked for from clients, from Grow Getters, from my Just Getting Started bootcamp, from the podcast, from everything. And I'll just kind of look at it as a whole and like, what am I looking at here? What am I seeing? That's how I evaluate the results of what I'm doing. You have to evaluate the results in terms of experimentation and things that you're trying that are new. Let's say you really start a TikTok blitz or LinkedIn blitz or social media. You really have to be able to look at that and go, is the time that I spent doing that actually working to bring in clients? Okay. So you really have to think that through. And then most importantly, you have to ask yourself, how have I really liked it? When I'm evaluating these results, have I really enjoyed this? Have I actually enjoyed this? Is it fun? Am I happy with the way that it's going? Because if it's not, it may be time that you shift what you're doing a little bit. And you can only know what to do by having data here and by having a case for why you should do what you're going to do next. So think about it. You can't decide where to go if you don't have any data. Okay. You can't decide what you need to do next. I mean, it's like the people that run the marathons and do everything. And they're like, oh, I need to run faster at the beginning. I need to do this or that. And you're like, well, how did you come to that conclusion? And they don't have any data. They're just saying that when really they should have been analyzing their times, their effort, how they were feeling, if that would have caused them to be burned out and actually gave them a slower time in the end, if they became too overheated in the beginning. Like there's a million things you could do to analyze that to make that decision. So all I'm saying is you have to have a case. So again, number one, you have to know your goals, which we went through. All of those, you've got to know those, y'all. You have to know what are your goals for this business. And number two, you have to have some data to be able to look at it and analyze and say, this is what's going to help me make my decision, because I think you'll be shocked at what you may find in some of the data. So make sure y'all do that today. This is a wake-up call for you to always be evaluating results, and don't be hiding from it because you're scared of numbers or you're scared of what it's going to show, because you have to be a business owner. This is not another hobby. This is a business. You have to put your business hat on, act like you're a new person looking at your business. Or if I came along and said, just show me real quick, I'm not saying I have to know your deepest, darkest, revenue numbers, or I have to know all that. But if I did, would you be able to back it up and say, this is why I'm still doing what I'm doing because it's working? Or this is why I haven't done this because what we're doing is working? Or, yeah, I think we need to start something new because this isn't working. Right? Does that make sense? So I hope today you'll all evaluate results. And if you have subscribed to my premier podcast version of this podcast, I'm about to record another one that is going to be a bonus episode for you so that you can hear a little bit of what I've gone through in evaluating results for my business in hopes that it will help you too. So that's it. Y'all have a good day. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, bye now.
Now, this episode may be over, but our relationship does not have to end here. Head on over to KimberlyBrock.com, and yes, you can get more valuable information for your journey. And you know what? You don't need to go through this alone. I would love to help you. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.